I'm Adam Jones.
And I'm Mark McKelvey.
Today we wanted to meet up here on video to talk a little bit more about the real world work that Mark is doing with his new division here within Managed IT at Creative Planning Business Services. I think we all understand that his services, once people understand them, the value is very inherent and easy to understand. But giving people real examples of the work he's doing, I think is going to be a really nice exercise so that everybody maybe can listen for that buying language within all of our client relationships and understand when it's the right time to bring Mark in. So, Mark, why don't we start by just talking a little bit about the problem you were trying to solve for the client?
Sure. This client came to me recently wanting to understand the effect of their marketing spend and more specifically, which channels were driving the most value and which weren't. The client was a home services company, and they're wondering why their appointments have dropped recently. So they want to allocate marketing well to drive up those appointments.
Got it. How did you, I guess, tell me about how you solved that for them then?
Sure. This client in particular, we had built a data warehouse for in years past, so we had a pretty good handle on their data. We were able to join together the different channels, the spend from different channels, and the number of appointments, and then run a type of regression analysis to understand which of those channels were leading to appointments. So you're basically looking at the fluctuations in spend over time and looking for correlations between that and appointments.
Is this the kind of thing that basically so you talked about the data warehouse. I'll rewind for a second. Is that a core requirement for someone to have something like that to work with you, or is it just depend, or what's the value of the data warehouse and how's that kind of fit in a little more specifically?
Sure. It's definitely not a core dependency. In fact, for many of my clients, that's something that we build out. This project could have been done without it. It would have just taken us a little more time to stitch together the data from all of their different marketing platforms and their CRM where those counts of appointments were held.
Got it. So what kinds of, I guess for this type of engagement, what types of questions or conversations would you expect the client to be, like the sort of the high level needs they would be talking about potentially around someone that might be doing other work within the business to sort of have their ear out for?
Yeah, I think what I mentioned at first, like, hey, we're not getting the appointments we expected, so we're spending all this money on marketing, but we don't know if it's driving any value. Um, you know, really, it's just people expressing a concern that the different tactics they're pursuing in their business aren't driving the value that they expect, and this same type of analysis could be done for other operational issues. For example, like why are we having more issues with quality control or something along those lines? We could look into the variables that are driving those problems.
So, I mean, from a really high level, it's wanting to understand the cause of a business problem and using the business's own data to solve it. So, I
Exactly.
guess then, if I'm hearing that right, the only limit on that would be if the business doesn't have the ability or the current tool set to generate that data. That would obviously be a challenge.
Right.
But even then, you could potentially, I guess, provide value in saying, well, I can't answer these questions today, but if we put these sort of like foundational tools in place 6 months from now, maybe I could. Is that a fair assessment?
Exactly right. And in fact, for many companies, we've had to go through that exercise first, right? Like we need to collect this data. Maybe we need a new form on our whatever to collect this data point, or a new website, or for internal use, all sorts of things that could help
Got it.
along
Makes a
those
lot of
lines.
sense. Awesome. Well, we want in the effort of, or in the interest of saving everyone's time, I'll wrap it up there. But if you're watching this and you find this informative, stay tuned. There should be more of these to come. Basically, when Mark delivers a project that we feel like is going to resonate and just be easy to understand, at those moments we want to make these videos and just continue to kind of build the knowledge base within creative planning. So thanks for your time, Mark.
Yep. Thank you, Adam.